This past week, I shared a house with a dog. I've never spent 7 days in a house with a dog before. This was a big thing. I was with my brothers and sisters on vacation. My brother-in-law told me during the week, don't give the dog scraps during dinner. I can't tell a lie, I did. She kept pushing her head against my knee and looking at me with her big eyes. So I was a softie. I caved in. I gave her some of my pizza, some of my cake. We're friends now. This is an image Jesus uses in the gospel, though, of a dog eating scraps from the dinner table. We consider that a little bit later in the homily. What does Jesus mean? Also this weekend we begin a series, a 3-week series reflecting, we call it Feel a Burden. Feel a burden for those who aren't here in church with us. Someone that you wish was sitting next to you in the pew. Someone that needs God's help but doesn't know where to find it. Someone who doesn't know Jesus. Someone who is not receiving sacraments where God wants to bless and strengthen and guide them. Maybe it's your husband or wife. Maybe it's one of your children who no longer goes to church. Maybe it's one of your friends or your classmates. But we should feel the burden for them. They're not a burden, but we should feel the burden of, gosh, what can I do to bring them to God? God so wants to bless them, but they don't even know it. So this week, we consider why. Why invite someone to our parish? How does our parish make life better for people? We look at the gospel, Matthew chapter 15. It says there was a Canaanite woman, and she asked Jesus for help with her child. Jesus is passing by, and she says, Lord, have pity on me. My daughter is possessed by a demon. Lord, help me. Very dramatic. She's begging for her daughter's life. Somehow she's under the influence of the devil. Maybe she's caught up in a sinful lifestyle. Maybe she has an addiction. Maybe she's literally possessed. She's in a time of need. And Jesus has this unexpected response. It is not right to give the food of children to the dogs. Sounds harsh. But he probably didn't say it in a harsh tone. She responds, fine, but I'll take what I can get. I'll take the scraps. Consider if people are at dinner and their dog is there, and the dog is trying to get some food from the table, like me and the dog this past week. Sometimes the children feed their pet with the scraps. Now, often the scraps are better than the dogs normally get. I know the quality of dog food is going up. I see the commercials, but typically dogs were given dry food, and here you give them a piece of steak or a piece of cake or a piece of pizza. That's better than they normally get. Also, sometimes maybe your children don't like what you made for you for dinner, so they're like scraping it off to the dog. They don't appreciate the good food on their plate. The dog does. He's happy to get it. Jesus said that sometimes, like us, God comes to help us, and sometimes we don't want it. He came for the Jewish people, and some of them didn't want it. Others are begging for God's help, and they'll take whatever they can get. So many Catholics today don't appreciate our faith. They take it for granted. Jesus, when he came to preach, he said, I came for the Jewish people. This is a Canaanite woman. She wasn't part of his focus group. Now, many of the Jews did accept his teachings. All the first Catholics were Jewish. Mary, Joseph, the 12 apostles, Jesus himself, in his human nature. But also many of the Jews did not accept his teaching. Many of the Jewish religious leaders rejected him. Eventually, the Christians had to flee Jerusalem because they were being persecuted, and they scattered. Some of them eventually made their way to Rome, which became the center of the Catholic faith. So he came to feed us, but some of us rejected the food, while others were begging for the food. So why do we invite people to our church? Consider this theme of evangelizing. Now, Typically, when you invite someone to church, you don't call them a dog, okay? I know Jesus did. That's usually not the best approach. Someone should tell Jesus that. But why would we invite someone here? Sometimes it's hard for us to articulate. There's so many good things about our Catholic faith, but if someone asks us, we freeze. So it's good to remember. Just think about the parish. Don't think about the faith theoretically. Practically speaking, what do you like about St. Louis Parish or St. Francis Parish? What are some ways this parish has blessed you, made your life better? And think about all the things that unfold. There's 5 areas of our parish life. And you might have heard this before, but we're going to keep going back over it. What do we do here? We worship our God, we learn our faith, we teach our children, we build our friendships, and we serve our neighbors. 5 very good things that take place here at St. Louis. Let's break those down a little bit. We worship our God. We're doing it right now at Sunday Mass. On any given Sunday, there's about 2,300 of us at both parishes coming to receive Holy Communion, strength for the week ahead. We have confessions throughout the week to receive God's mercy. We have Eucharistic adoration in our stone chapel for personal prayer. We have retreats throughout the year for adults and teens. We're worshiping our God, and He's blessing us. Secondly, we learn our faith through the Sunday homilies, through our Bible studies, or speaker series, or pilgrimages. We're learning about God, we're learning about ourselves, the meaning of life. We're teaching our children in our St. Louis school and our faith formation program on Sundays and our youth ministry with our teens. Right now there's over 900 young people being formed in our parish, learning the meaning of life, right and wrong, who is God, that we exist to serve God and others. Right? If you're teenagers, you're the next generation of Christians. You're the next American citizens. We're having an impact on the world, forming our young. We worship our God, we learn our faith, we teach our children, we serve our neighbors. We know each of us are called to help others to some degree. We're called to share with what we have, but individually we can do little. Together, we can be a force for good. Last year at St. Louis Parish, you, our good parishioners, gave away $816,000 to others, to ministries here in Howard County through our mission support collection, to ministries around Maryland through the Archdiocesan Annual Appeal, and even to ministries outside of this country through our annual Haiti collection. But not just our money, our time, so many volunteers, some in small ways, some in large. Just yesterday, Father Rob went to the Little Sisters of the Poor in Catonsville with 20 parishioners to bring care packages we made for the elderly. Back in the winter, if you recall, we prepared meals for 2 weeks straight for the grassroots homeless shelter. 3 meals a day for 2 weeks. Over 126 of our parishioners volunteered. We're serving our neighbor. And we build our friendships. We make friends along the way. There's a lot of lonely people out there. They need friends. We have a lot of fun as Catholics. We always mix in food and celebration to everything we do. Whether we're meeting people through small groups, SCCs, or if you join a ministry or volunteer, you're going to meet other people. In our group of young families, our tailgates and picnics, our youth group. Quite a lot unfolds here in our parish. We're being blessed in many ways. How have you been blessed? Let's do this right now. Let's just pause for 30 seconds and think about 2 or 3 ways that you've been blessed here at St. Louis or St. Francis. 2 or 3 things you like about the parish. Let's reflect on that. Just take a moment, 30 seconds. And now, when you want to invite someone to church, you have 2 or 3 reasons to tell them to come. 2 or 3 ways that you've been blessed that perhaps they too could be blessed. Keep it very practical, very focused on your experience here. We know today many people don't go to church. There's a trend away from religion. A lot of young adults are turning away from religion. So we know that's happening. How do we get people reinterested in Jesus? How do we bring people back to church? Well, if every parishioner just brought one new person this coming year, we would double the size of our parish. We would make front page New York Times. How did they do it? Now, maybe our 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, maybe we don't expect them to bring someone new. But many of our teens have been bringing their friends. We know if you invite people, often they'll say no, but some will say yes, and they can't say yes unless you invite them. So my brothers and sisters, feel a burden for those who are not part of the parish, those not with us in the pews this morning. Invite people. Don't call them a dog, but invite them. Jesus wants to bless them here, where we worship our God, we learn our faith, we teach our children, we serve our neighbor, and we build our friendships. Know how you've been blessed, and that's why we invite people so that they too can be blessed. Next week we'll continue this series of reflections. We'll consider how we invite people.